welcome to chapel. Let's give Mrs. Johnson our attention, please.
Hello, good morning. March is Women's History Month, and in order to honor that, we wanted to do it in the best way that we know how. So we will be performing a song today called Never One Thing. Just to give you a little bit of background and context, the Never One Thing is a song written by May Erlewine and arranged by Corey Brown. Both are women in the world of music. The inspiration behind the song came from Walt Whitman's quote, "I am large, I contain multitudes." May Erlewine says, "It came to me as a desperate plea and a cry to be free from societal confines and also free from the pain of our internal critic. To be strong, to be powerful, to be angry, to be a fighter. These are not things that women are often encouraged to identify with." Corey Brown says, "Never One Thing is an anthem for anyone who has ever felt parts of themselves disowned or ostracized. Through connecting with the text, the singer, the conductor, and the audience are invited to begin the process of reclaiming and healing those parts of themselves that are at the same time both vulnerable and powerful." Please enjoy this performance put on by a variety of women from the Darlington community with William Wang featured on percussion. Always remember that you all can be anything and everything. Be loud and take up space.
At all.
Thank you all again so much, Ms. Johnson and everyone for that performance. That was a great way to start the morning and to reflect a little bit, so thank you. Good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you to chapel today and to hear the very first Darlington School Leadership Institute keynote address. I want to especially welcome our 7th and 8th graders who have joined us this morning, as well as several friends from the community. It is great to see all of you here today. Thank you for joining us. The Darlington School Leadership Institute is a partnership with the Fanning Institute out of the University of Georgia and was formally launched this semester as our middle school students have begun engagement with the Youth Leadership in Action program. The mission of the Institute is to create an engaged and confident citizenry by training and equipping students with inclusive and comprehensive leadership skills, and to provide opportunities for service and action so that students are prepared for a diverse and ever-changing world. We are excited for you all, and we are excited for the growth and development of this new program as we continue to seek to strengthen confidence, compassion, and connection in leaders today who will impact the world tomorrow. Today is a significant step in that journey. And it is a great personal honor for me to introduce today's speaker. Laura Whitaker got involved with ESP, Extra Special People, as a freshman at the University of Georgia while she was studying special education. Laura quickly fell in love with ESP's mission as a camp counselor and being a part of the leadership team. After ESP founder Martha Wiley suddenly passed away from pancreatic cancer, Laura was selected as the director of the organization at just 19 years old and a sophomore in college. She loves to share that while sometimes you choose your job, her dream job chose her. Being executive director for over 18 years and now CEO of the organization, Laura uses her faith along with her leadership skills to manage a team of 18, oversee multiple year-round recreational programs, create employment opportunities for adults with disabilities through Java Joy, and raise funds to run these programs that serve over 700 families in the Northeast Georgia region. Laura doesn't stay still for long. Other highlights of her career include involvement with Lead Athens, the Leadership Georgia program, serving on the State Board of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. She was awarded the 2020 Athena Award and is currently a member of the Oconee State Bank Board of Directors. Her favorite part of her job is getting to hug the many children who walk through the ESP doors, but her favorite role in the world and greatest joy is being wife to husband Joseph and mother to her 3 kids, Owen, Finley, and Tate. And they live, of course, in what many people consider the center of the universe, Athens, Georgia. And I know there are some UGA fans in this audience, so it is important to note that there are many people who believe that the Bulldogs' relationship with ESP is in fact what sparked them to win the national championship this year. So please join me in giving a warm Darlington welcome to Laura Whitaker.
Good morning, everybody. Can we just take a minute? And I want my boys, my girls, my men, and my women, can we just take a minute to honor the fact that the first leadership series here at Darlington is a female on Women's History Month? Isn't that awesome? My guys up here, are you excited about that? Thank you, thank you. Just making sure you're awake this morning. Guys, what an honor to be here with you. Listen, I don't know that I'll say anything super profound while I'm up here. I'd like for you to tell me otherwise. But I'm just really, really grateful to share my story. I'm truly, truly nothing special. I've had the honor to be able to serve my community and now your community through my work. So here I am, a 19-year-old girl. Okay, there we go. A 19-year-old girl in a superhero costume. At the time, you want me to change?
I'm going to try that other one. I'm not sure what one is.
Woo! Testing, 1, 2. Is that better? Give me a thumbs up if that's better. All right, perfect. So can everyone see this picture? All right. There I was, a 19-year-old girl in a superhero costume. I had big plans. I grew up in Atlanta, went to the University of Georgia, and just like many of you, I thought I would get my undergraduate degree, then my graduate degree. I would go on to be in business or a teacher or a doctor. I had big plans. Raise your hand if you have big plans for your life. Okay, a few of you, we're good, we're good. I thought I was a leader. I served on councils and boards in high school, and I thought I knew what leadership meant. And I thought I knew the direction that I was headed in my life. But here I was smiling, and internally, outside of my door, while I was wearing the Wonder Woman costume, there were 30 people, my age, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, waiting for me to lead them. And in that moment, I felt nothing like a leader. I thought I did. And then when I was faced with that leadership moment, I thought, how in the world, as a 19-year-old female, am I going to go out and lead the organization? This is Austin. Austin has Down syndrome. He's one of my buddies. And he thought I was super. He thought I was amazing. And not because I had a million Instagram likes, not because I had a graduate degree, not because I had the title of CEO, because I didn't at the time. You know what Austin thought about me? He loves me because I brought him to his favorite place, which is ESP. ESP exists to create transformative experiences for people with disabilities and their families, changing communities for the better. And the truth is, I watched Austin grow as I've watched the organization grow. So as I started as an 18-year-old camp counselor, fell in love with the mission, Brent shared that I took over as a 19-year-old as executive director of the organization. And since then, we have gone from 30 kids to 700 families that we serve. We've gone from just a summer camp to serving individuals every single day. We now have programs in Atlanta, here in Rome, in San Francisco, California, soon to be Greenville, Austin, Texas, Savannah, Gainesville, and beyond. But the truth is, the lessons that I learned when I was 19 years old about leadership are still the lessons that I have kept today. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to be an executive director. And so what did I do? I surrounded myself with people that were smarter than I was, that knew how to build a community. I learned. Leadership is not about experience. Leadership is not about a title. Leadership is about the opportunity to learn from the people that are around you and learn more about yourself. It's the opportunity to have mentorship. Mentorship has been a big part of who I have become as a leader. And it's been about vulnerability. We talk a lot at ESP about abilities. If I asked you right now, what are your top 5 abilities? Do you think you could tell me? At ESP, we don't focus on disability, we focus on the abilities that we were all created with. But the number one ability that me and you and every kid that we serve at ESP have is vulnerability. Vulnerability is the number one ability. If you want to be a leader one day, or if you are a leader in your class, in clubs, in the future on your campuses and college, vulnerability is the number one ability and opportunity that we have. And in order to learn, we have to be vulnerable. So the truth is, now that I'm 18 years into my career and I have this fancy title called CEO, the number one thing that I have seen, even in this last year, the hardest year of my leadership yet, when I thought I would have it all figured out 18 years later, I have found myself again coming back to the fact that leaders are lifelong learners. I learned things 3 months ago that I didn't know. And if you want to be a leader, it's not about academic leadership, and that is very, very important. But it's looking at the person next to you. And it's looking at the person that leads you. It's looking at your parents. It's finding the people that you really find honor in and studying them. What makes them great? What makes them honorable? It's about mentorship. When you leave to go to college, or when you leave to go to high school, middle school students, who can mentor you? Who in this room can mentor you to be a better leader? Leaders learn. They are lifelong learners. The most important leadership lessons that I have learned throughout the last 18 years have been from the people that I serve. Not my professors, not a TED Talk, not a podcast. It's been from the amazing human beings we have the opportunity to serve at ESP. Is anybody a UGA fan in the house? Raise your hand if you're a UGA fan. Okay, go Dogs. If you're a UGA fan, or even if you're not, there is one name around Athens, Georgia, and in the UGA community that you would know, or that you should know, and that is the legendary Vince Dooley. Vince Dooley brought UGA to the national championship, and this is Vince and Barbara Dooley, very involved with our organization, and this is their grandson, Matthew. Now, Matthew has cerebral palsy. He was born with cerebral palsy. And as we have grown and served at ESP, we've had to figure out how to raise money, because guess what? Families only pay 25% or less of what it costs ESP to run our programs. So we've had to get really, really creative with how do we raise that money? And so as a crazy 20-year-old that didn't know what I was doing running a nonprofit organization, I said, I want to jump out of an airplane. I think there are other people that would like to jump out of airplanes and maybe would do it to raise money for kids of all abilities. Raise your hand if you want to jump out of an airplane one day. Be honest. Okay. I will see all of you when you turn 18 in Monroe. We'll give you a chance to do that. Matthew came to me one time, and Matthew said, Laura, I want to jump out of an airplane. Now, we had no idea how we were going to make this happen. Skydiving isn't made for people that can't control their bodies, and he has no control from the head all the way down. But we said, you know what, we're going to figure it out. And so we did. We worked with several of the professionals, and they practiced, and Matthew has jumped out of an airplane 9 times. Matthew shared after the first time he jumped out of an airplane, it's the first time he felt like he didn't have a disability. He felt the same as me and as you flying in the air. But the thing about Matthew, and the thing about me, and the thing about you, is that in order to try new things, in order to lead people, in order to lead your classmates, you have to lean in. You see, the fascinating thing to me about skydiving, and I've done it 5 times, is that when you get to the edge of the plane and you're strapped to somebody, a professional, what they do is they do this. 1, 2, 3, and you've got to lean your entire body forward. In leadership, the second thing I learned from Matthew, from the participants that we serve, is that sometimes our insecurity, the fear of what we don't think that we can do, the fear of what would happen, prevents us from showing up. It prevents us from saying yes when an opportunity comes our way because we think that we don't have the right credentials or the right experience, or maybe we're just too scared to do it. But in leadership, I have found in the last 18 years that when I lean in, when I say yes, when I say 1, 2, 3, and I jump off that plane, that has been the most remarkable experiences of my life. Watching other people get to benefit in our community, raising $3 million to build a new building when we were in the middle of a recession, standing in front of 4,000 people, doing a TED Talk, all of those things. I'm still sometimes, and still before you today, that 19-year-old girl who thinks that I can't do those things. But in order for me to change the lives of others, in order for me to be my best self, I have to lean in. I have to say yes. I have to show up. We're in cancel culture right now. It's so easy to say no. I don't want to do it. I don't want to stand up and take this new position. I don't want to be available. It'd be easier for me to stay home and binge watch Netflix. Show up and lean in. You never know what's behind that. You never know what it's like to skydive until you lean in. 1, 2, 3. The last leadership lesson that I have learned over the last 18 years is from this girl right here. Her name is Becca. And Becca didn't have a lot of words. In fact, she only said a few. Becca had Down syndrome, and this is her here with some of the football players. As Brent mentioned, they're very involved with ESP in Athens. But the thing about Becca is that Becca would come up to you, and while she didn't have a lot of words, she would come up and she would hug me from the side. She would hold up her hands before she left the building. She would say, "I love you." And I'll never forget, as a 21-year-old leader, what it felt like to be loved by somebody like that. You see, she didn't have a lot of words. She didn't have a lot of credentials. She didn't have a lot to say with her mouth, but she had so much to say in other ways. In order to be a leader, and this is probably not something that you will read in a textbook, and it's surely not something that you will hear in college, but I have found the most important thing you need as a leader is love. You see, my favorite quote that I found when I was 20 years old is, "Not all of us can do great things." I didn't set out to do great things. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll become an amazing actor or lawyer or IT professional or whatever you want to do. Not all of us can do great things. but we can all do small things with great love. You see, while I stand up here 18 years later and hundreds of people later and lives changed, I didn't see that when I was sitting in a similar seat like you were. I didn't know that one day I would be standing in front of you 18 years later. But those small moments of learning and leaning in and loving and being loved turned out to be big things for the benefit of many people. You can be a lot of things in life, but if you don't have love, you cannot be a leader. Loving is looking at the person next to you and being available for them. Loving is looking at the people in your community that need you. I was 19 years old. You don't have to wait until you're 30 years old to make a difference in your community. Do it now. Do it now while you have time. Who in your community needs your love? Not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. I am so excited and thrilled to give all of you guys an incredible opportunity. I want to invite you, in fact, to be our guest at ESP. As you heard from Brent, ESP is growing and expanding. We have people move to Athens, Georgia every single year because there is nothing like ESP. So guess what? We're trying out ESP here in Rome, Georgia. You guys are the first ESP expansion, one of many that will come over the next 5 and 10 years. And so I want to invite you guys to be change makers. I want you to look back 10 years, 18 years from now and be like, I was a part of the first ESP expansion. You may be afraid to interact with people with disabilities. I want to invite you to learn how to do it. You may think, I don't have time, or I don't have the skills, or I don't have the abilities. I want you to 1, 2, 3, lean in. Come, try it out. It's going to be uncomfortable, and I always say awkward is the first step to aha. It's going to be a little awkward at first, but come and try it out and lean in. And I want to invite you to come and love your neighbor. We are going to have the first ever camp outside of Athens, Georgia, here in Rome, Georgia this summer. And I'm super, super excited to give you guys the opportunity to lead by doing those 3 things on June 13th through 17th and July 18th through the 22nd. So if you are in town during those dates, we would love to have you come and volunteer during those times. We have some after-school programs, some weekend programs if you can't commit to the full summer program. But we would love to invite you to come and be a part of it. In closing, my hope for you is this. Some of you may become the next CEO or create the next app or go become an executive director one day, a doctor, a nurse, or maybe just a mom or a dad, and all of those things are equally amazing. But regardless of what you do not let age prevent you from learning and being a lifelong learner, from showing up and leaning in, and from looking at the person next to you, the person across the street from you, the person walking down the street, the person asking for money, the person with a disability, your younger brother or sister, for love. Not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. Thank you for your time, for your attention, and it's an honor to be with you today.
Thank you. Laura, thank you again for being here with us. And we want you to know that ESP Rome will be receiving a donation from the school in honor of your presence here today. And we appreciate you joining us this morning. To answer a pressing question on the minds of at least a few of you, yes, you would receive service hours if you volunteer at camp this summer. I've had the opportunity to see camp in action and would just really encourage you to think about taking advantage of that opportunity. It really is a remarkable experience for everyone that's involved. And if you have particular questions about that, Laura and her team will be up here at the front for a few minutes if you want to come ask some questions this morning. Faculty, the Dempseys, Darlington alums and champions of ESP invite you all for a cup of Java Joy outside when we finish chapel this morning. And we'll change things up just a little bit today. So if after the seniors lead us out, we'll let the middle school go out next, and then juniors and sophomores, freshmen, you guys will finish our, I guess, what do you call it, the recession. So, again, thanks everybody for being here. Thank you for your attention. Laura, thank you for everything that you do. Seniors, lead us out.